Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and on today's video I want to show you how to make a flowered flounce, or in other words a rosette as I hear people calling it. And as you can see with me, I have fabric that I cut in circular motion. And my fabric, I don't want a big flowered flounce, so I'm just going to show you with a small one, and I'm going to show you the measurements. As you can see, it's around 6.5. It's around 6.5. 6.5. It's not that big because I don't want a big flowered flounce. And remember, by the way, you can, when you're making flounces, you can make it at any size you want. There is no specific size of a flounce. You just choose any size you want. And as you can see, I have this fabric. This is what I'll gather to make my flounce. This is what I'll gather. I've just cut a long straight fabric, as you can see, which is around, let me show you, it's around 4 inches, because I want, when I fold, I'm left with 2 inches. I want to be left with 2 inches when I fold. So the whole thing is around 4 inches. And what I'm going to do right now, and by the way, as you can see, I have 2 pieces of fabric. I cut them in when they are 2 pieces, and I have a gum material, as I call it. This, as you can see, I call it gum material. When you iron, it sticks on the fabric. I want my fabric to be a little heavy, and remember, I'm not going to use my gum material on this fabric, but you can use it if you want, because my fabric is very heavy and I don't want it to be more heavier. So please, you can use whatever. You can either choose to use a gum material or not, to your own liking, to your own specifications. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to iron this here, and then I'm going to come and stitch. I'm going to come and stitch and join. Let me iron, and then I'll show you. And then I'm going to stitch over here. I'm going to overlock over here so that I can turn, just to finish my edges well. Let me show you. So as you can see, I have already ironed the gum material to the fabric. So I'm going to take these 2, and then I'm going to stitch all round. I'm going to stitch all round. I'm going to stitch them and turn them. And I'm going to show you right now what I'm going to do. And then for this fabric, you can either choose to stitch or to overlock. I've just overlocked. Then I'll turn this way, just to finish my edges well. And then you don't have to finish these edges, but for me, I want to finish them. I love doing knit work. So I'll finish, and then I'll show you the outcome. So as you can see, I have finished my edges by overlocking. You see how neat that is? I have finished my edges, and my starting point, this is how it looks, and this. So we are going to proceed to make the flowered flounce. So I'm going to stitch this in circular motion, and this is how we are going to do it. And by the way, when you're stitching, please note that you are stitching the right sides facing each other. Right sides facing each other. I am going to stop there because I need to overturn. I'll remove my pins. I need to overturn from this space I've left. I'll overturn it and iron. I'll overturn and iron. So as you can see, I've ironed for proper, I can say, stability. I needed to iron, you see. So I'll just do a stitch all round on top to finish it nicely. So as you can see, I have done a top stitch all round just to hold the circle in place. I've done a top stitch. And then, by the way, there is one thing I forgot to tell you, is that before you turn, after you've stitched all round, before you turn to the right side, please remember to snip for proper, so that your circle lays well when you snip. Please remember to snip. Snipping is cutting on the edges. Let's assume this is the wrong side, so I'll just take my small scissors and snip all around, and snip and snip. And then snipping allows your circle to, when you turn your fabric to the right side, it allows your circle to lay flat nicely. It won't give you trouble. So at this point, we are going now to start attaching this fabric. So we are going to start stitching it on this circle. And please remember that this is not the standard measurements for your flowers. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. There is no specific measurement to make these things. Yes, and let's do this. So I'm not going to draw circles because I'm just going to follow the circles here, and I'm going to pleat it. I'm going to be doing pleats. I'm not going to do gathers, but remember, you can do pleats, you can do gathers, whatever that pleases you. It comes out with different interesting designs that are very nice, and you can use them anywhere, in your sleeves, in your garments, in your pillows, anywhere. So I'll be pleating all round, and remember to stitch in a circular motion. And my pleats, I don't have a specific measurement. I'm just pleating anyhowly. I don't have that specific measurement of pleating, because I just want to see what we will come up with. As I told you, my fabric is very, very heavy. That's why you see my machine remember to stitch in circular motions. And stitch just close to you see where you stitched, where you did your first stitch. Stitch very close to that, and please do it in circular motions. So as you can see, we are done with the very first round, and I want to explain to you something here. So when you're stitching these pleats, when you're pleating, you can either choose to do the second round just right after, very close to the first round, or there are some people who do it on top, which I don't know why, and I've seen other people do it on top, as I'm telling you, but I prefer going, my second round will be somewhere here. This is where I'm going to do my second round of stitching. This is how I'll do it. Let me show you. Because me stitching on top of this, it will be too many layers for my machine to handle. You see, as I told you, my fabric is very heavy, so it will be too many layers for my fabric to handle. So I'll just come and stitch here. And as I told you, I don't do circles, but if you are a beginner, please do circles that will guide you. Draw circles that will guide you. As you can see, we already have a flower-like design that is coming up. Let's finish and see what we come up with. So as you can see, we've gotten to the center, and as we get to the center, I told you with these flowers, there is no specific way of doing them. Imagine you can find yourself doing something and it comes out, something that is out of the norm, and it comes out very nice. As you can see, I'm going to remove, and I'm going to show you how we are going to finish with a needle, hand needle. So as you can see, this is how it looks like. I chose not to finish because of the bulkiness of the fabrics. I didn't want my machine to break the needle. So, by the way, I forgot to tell you something. When you're stitching and you find out that this fabric becomes less, what you do, don't finish like the way I've finished. You leave some space for joining another fabric, and then you can continue. Leave some space up to here, and then it will be easier for you to join the fabrics, and then you can finish the edges and continue pleating or doing. And remember, I told you you can do big pleats or small pleats. Like mine, some are big, some are small, because I just wanted to see what will come out with. Because, as I told you, I never measured my pleats. I just pleated as I stitched. So when it comes to this part, there is no specific way of finishing. What I'll do, I'll just fold it. I can choose to fold this part with an overlock machine. I think that is what I'll do. So as you can see, I've finished my edges. So what I'll do, I'll just try and fold this into a design. Any design will do. I can choose to do this and stitch with my hand needle. I think that is, I can even choose to just and hide these stitches. I can choose to do this, and see, it also brings out a good design. But what I'll do, I think I'm just going to fold it this way, because I also want to hide the edges. I'm going to fold it this way, and then you won't see the edges. I'm going just to fold it this way, and I'm going to use my hand needle and stitch this part in place. And I'm going to stitch it in a way that my threads won't be visible. That's why I'm using a thread that is that matches the fabric, because I don't want the thread to be visible when I don't want the thread to be visible. This is how I've decided to do it. I hope you can see. You don't really see where the thread is holding the fabric from. Make sure your thread is very invisible. We don't want it to be visible. So I'll just continue doing this until I'm comfortable with knowing the fabric has been well placed, and then I'm going to show you why I decided to leave this like that. So with me I have some buttons that I was thinking of decorating them, so I'm going to choose the one that I think will go well. This will go well, but no, let's try this one. This one also will go very well. Let's try this one. It will also go well. What about this one? It's also going very well. What about this one? It's very nice, but I think I prefer this one. Or this one. Which one? They all look so good, so it's even hard to choose which one. Or we do this one. How does that look? I think we can do this one. Let's do this one and see the final outcome. So I have used the glue gun. I've stuck my button, and please remember you can also stitch it in with your hand needle, but I've just preferred to use my glue gun. And when I'm sticking this to maybe my design, maybe it's a garment, what I love doing, I love attaching it from here, because attaching it with this, it makes it so bulky for me and my machine. So I love attaching it from this to the surface that I want attached. So as I told you, this was the design I did with the big pleats. Let me show you another design that I did with the small pleats. As you can see, this I did the small pleats, and as you can see at the center point, I've just finished off. I never put any buttons and anything. And I did smaller pleats. These are also pleats, and as I told you, when you're doing a flowered flounce, you can do anything. Just be creative. There are no rules to making one. Just be creative, and you never know what you'll come up with. So thank you very much for viewing this video, and thank you very much for watching, and please tell a friend to tell a friend. Bye bye.